On August 1, at the Paris Olympics, a boxing match between Italian boxer Angela Carini and Algerian fighter Imane Khelif turned into one of the most controversial and talked about moments of the Games. The bout, which lasted a mere 46 seconds, ended with Carini abruptly walking away, her face streaked with tears, sparking a debate that has reverberated far beyond the confines of the boxing ring. The fight began like any other, but it quickly took a dramatic turn when Khelif, known for her power and precision, landed a devastating punch directly on Carini's face. The impact was immediate and brutal. Carini, visibly stunned, paused momentarily as if trying to process what had just happened. Then, in a move that shocked everyone in attendance and those watching around the world, she turned her back on her opponent and walked to her corner. Her coaches, seeing the distress on her face, immediately signaled to the referee that Carini would not continue. The referee, acknowledging the severity of the situation, stopped the fight, and Carini's Olympic journey came to an unexpected and heartbreaking end. As Carini exited the ring, she refused to shake Khelif's hand, a traditional gesture of sportsmanship in boxing. Instead, she collapsed to her knees, overwhelmed by emotion, and began to cry. Later, in a tearful interview with reporters, Carini explained her decision, saying, "I went to the ring to honor my father. I was often called a warrior, but I chose to quit to save my life. I have never felt a punch like this." Carini emphasized that she did not give up lightly but had to make a choice for her well-being, adding, "I'm leaving with my head held high." This incident quickly became the center of a much larger controversy, not just because of Carini's emotional exit, but because of who her opponent was. Imane Khelif, a 25-year-old boxer from Algeria, has been at the heart of a significant debate in the world of women's sports. Khelif was allowed to compete in the Paris Olympics despite having been disqualified from the 2023 World Championships. The reason for her disqualification was tied to eligibility concerns related to competing in women's sports, a topic that has stirred passionate discussions across various platforms. The International Boxing Association, IBA, the governing body that oversees the World Championships, had issued a statement just a day before the Olympics began, clarifying the circumstances surrounding Khelif's and another athlete, Lin Yuting's, disqualification. According to the IBA, both athletes were disqualified not because of a typical testosterone examination, but rather due to a different, recognized test. This test, described by the IBA as confidential, conclusively indicated that both athletes did not meet the necessary eligibility criteria and were deemed to have competitive advantages over other female competitors. This revelation has only fueled the ongoing debate about fairness and inclusivity in women's sports. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, has also been dragged into the controversy, especially given that they allowed Khelif and Lin to compete in the Paris Olympics. In a statement released on July 31, the IOC defended its decision, asserting that the athletes were facing aggression due to what they termed as an arbitrary decision by the IBA. The IOC expressed deep concern over the abuse directed at the athletes and reiterated its commitment to ensuring that every person has the right to practice sport without discrimination. The IOC stressed that both Khelif and Lin have been competing in international boxing for years, including in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, and that they have consistently complied with the eligibility, entry, and medical regulations set by the Paris 2024 Boxing Unit, PBU. The IOC also criticized the IBA for its handling of the situation, pointing out that the disqualification of Khelif and Lin came without due process. According to the IOC, the decision was taken solely by the IBA Secretary General and CEO, without proper procedure, despite the athletes having competed in top-level events for many years. The IOC's stance has been that the regulations for Paris 2024 were developed using the Tokyo 2020 boxing rules as a baseline to ensure consistency and minimize disruption to athletes' preparations. These rules were based on the post-Rio 2016 regulations, which were in effect before the suspension of the Boxing International Federation by the IOC in 2019 and its subsequent withdrawal of recognition in 2023. Carini, for her part, has chosen not to comment on whether Khelif should have been allowed to compete. "I am not in a position to judge this match," she said. "I am not a referee." However, her decision to forfeit has sparked a wave of reactions in Italy and across social media. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, a prominent figure in the debate on gender and fairness in sports, criticized the inclusion of athletes with male genetic characteristics in women's competitions. Meloni argued that it was not a fair contest, reflecting a sentiment shared by many in the online community. Author J.K. Rowling also weighed in on the controversy, condemning the Paris Olympics for what she described as a disgrace after a biological male defeated a female boxer in the women's category. Rowling, who has been vocal about her views on gender and women's rights, stated, "A young female boxer has just had everything she's worked and trained for snatched away because you allowed a male to compete against her. You're a disgrace, your safeguarding is a joke, and #Paris 24 will be forever tarnished by the brutal injustice done to Carini." Reem Al-Salam, the UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women and Girls, also expressed her concern about the incident. Al-Salam tweeted, "Angela Carini rightly followed her instincts and prioritized her physical safety, but she and other female athletes should not have been exposed to this physical and psychological violence based on their sex." In response to the growing backlash, the Algerian Olympic Committee, COA, issued a statement defending Khelif. The COA condemned what they described as the unethical targeting and maligning of Khelif, accusing certain foreign media outlets of spreading baseless propaganda. The COA argued that these attacks on Khelif's personality and dignity were profoundly unjust, particularly as she prepares for her next Olympic bout. The committee also assured that they had taken all necessary measures to protect their champion. The controversy shows no signs of abating, especially as Khelif is set to face Hungarian boxer Anna Luka Hamori in the next round on Saturday. Hamori, who will be Khelif's next opponent, has spoken out about the upcoming match, stating that she is not scared to face Khelif, regardless of the controversy surrounding the fight. Hamori remarked, "I don't care about the press story and social media. If she or he is a man, it will be a bigger victory for me if I win." Her defiant stance only adds more intrigue to the upcoming match, which is sure to be closely watched by fans, critics, and those invested in the ongoing debate over gender and fairness in sports. As the Paris Olympics continue, this controversy serves as a reminder of the complex and often contentious issues that can arise at the intersection of sports, gender, and fairness. The world will be watching closely to see how this story unfolds and what it means for the future of women's sports. What do you think about the controversy surrounding Angela Carini and Imane Khelif? Do you believe that the IOC made the right decision in allowing Khelif to compete? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to 2230 for more detailed news coverage and updates from the Paris Olympics.